Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Empowering the Sustainability Transformation. I want to introduce our speakers for the session. Jörg Riesch, who is the CEO and Managing Partner of Adensio, Daniel Traefser, who is the Associate Partner with Adensio, John Chorley, who is CSO and Senior Vice President, Supply Chain Management, Product Strategy, and Product Lifecycle Management here at Oracle, and myself, Joe Kastner, GVP of Global Ecosystems for Oracle's Construction and Engineering Business Unit. So as we start most of our presentations is with a safe harbor statement. So in essence, we may be talking about product capabilities that are kind of seen out into the future. Things change and timing can change, and we may shift priority strategies, things like that. So what we're saying in our safe harbor statement is you should not leverage that data to make a purchasing decision because, again, those things can change. So you certainly can read this statement, but want to make sure I covered that verbally as well. So if you're on this webinar, likely you're an Oracle Primavera Portfolio Management user, so OPPM, or soon perhaps to be heading down that path. And you rely on OPPM for high-stakes decision-making. And it's based on a lot of data, a lot of KPIs, and certain lenses. And now there's a new lens, and that is sustainability. The shift to focus on sustainability, I think, is really good for our planet. And for our kids, for our grandchildren, we want to leave this place in a better state. And it can be good also for business if executed right. So one of the roles of my organization, as I mentioned before, Global Ecosystems, is to seek out strategic partnerships that bring added value to our customers. So bringing the Oracle technology, but as well as bringing other capabilities. Our strategic partner, Adensio, is focused on sustainability as they've created a front end to OPPM. They'll be showing later in this webinar. Adensio has also done something that candidly our customers have been asking for. So additional functional capabilities in OPPM. They built a front end to OPPM that delivers candidly on many of the asks that we've seen from our customers. And so we'll get into this certainly in more detail. So what is Oracle doing about sustainability? If you know, it's an Oracle software company, but also we do a lot of manufacturing. We got manufacturing centers across the globe. We've got many data centers across the globe. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to focus on sustainability inside the organization. So John Chorley, I introduced earlier, is also Oracle's Chief Sustainability Officer. He'll talk about how we're driving environmental sustainability initiatives inside of Oracle, but also how we're helping to support our customers outside of the company. And Jörg Riesch and Daniel Traefser will then also get into their solution, which they call stazy. It's tightly integrated with OPPM. It can help support your sustainability goals and deliver results. So I want to introduce back John Chorley. So John, I mentioned early in this presentation, John is Senior Vice President for Product Strategy for Supply Chain Management. And you think about that, both supply chain, manufacturing, sustainability, I mean, those really do intertwine with each other. So if we think about the right individual from our organization to drive sustainability goals, John is that right individual. And so I would like to now introduce John as he goes into how Oracle is addressing sustainability. John, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Joe. My name's John Chorley, and I have the honor of being the Chief Sustainability Officer for Oracle. I'm going to talk today about shaping the sustainable organization and using technology as a force for good. First, let's talk a little bit about Oracle operating sustainably. We have a mantra, which is at Oracle, sustainability is everyone's business. By that, we mean that everyone in Oracle, each line of business, needs to participate in contributing to our sustainable practices, our sustainable goals. We believe by doing it that way, we can ensure that the decisions are taken at the right point, at the sharp end of the stick, if you like, and therefore can be embedded into every process and every line of business. And in doing so, make our sustainability initiatives more an intrinsic part of our daily business operations. We start by setting some clear goals. Number one goal is to, by 2025, use renewable power for all of our real estate and data center operations. We're also driving a 50% reduction in our total emissions with a goal of being net zero by 2050. These goals are in line with the scientific targets set to try and contain global warming by reduction in carbon output. We also, of course, measure our progress towards those goals. And as you can see, we already have a number of our data centers fully 100% renewably certified. Our plan is to continuously increase the renewable energy use, and we track and manage that very closely. And there are many other aspects to how we operate sustainably, including how we think about retiring our hardware assets. One of the advantages of running a cloud operation, if you like, a service-based operation, is that we really do have a good view of where all of those assets are, can manage them throughout their full life cycle. We design our hardware, build our hardware, ship our hardware, install, manage, maintain, and replace and retire that hardware. And in doing so, we're able to achieve a very, very high recycling or reuse rate of almost 100%, 99.9%. We also engage very closely with all of our key suppliers, and that's obviously a critical factor in driving our sustainable operations. And through that engagement and encouragement of getting those suppliers to run their own sustainability policies and set their own goals, we're able to really increase our leverage and improve the overall results. But clearly, our reach extends beyond that. Empowering our employees is obviously a key factor. There's some 140, 150,000 employees at Oracle. And so we run a series of programs and policies to help empower them to identify and drive their own initiatives. We have a whole series of what we call green teams. We recognize and support sustainability champions. We have an active policy within Oracle of 1 week per year of Oracle volunteering, which can be applied to sustainability, but other goals as well. And then clearly, too, we have a very active and well-supported policy of diversity and inclusion. But, clearly that's great. And operating as a sustainable organization, if you like, is a baseline requirement. But we have the opportunity to really help accelerate change. And that is through engagement with our hundreds of thousands of customers by providing systems and solutions that can enable them to achieve their own sustainability goals. And this is just a few of the customers that we've worked with who have shared their stories with us in terms of how they've used Oracle technology to drive their own sustainability and ESG-related goals. We run an awards program, have done for many, many years, and we really do look forward to hearing those stories, promoting those stories, sharing that knowledge, sharing those ideas so that we can continue to drive that leverage. So it starts with our cloud. The Oracle Cloud is a more sustainable computing platform. We drive a very high utilization rate, far higher than a typical corporate data center. We look at ways we can optimize our energy usage by essentially getting more compute out of the hardware that's deployed, as well as obviously looking at ways we can better integrate the hardware with the various heating and cooling systems within our data centers. As mentioned, we are committed to using renewable power. So by 2025, our goal is to be 100% renewably powered. And then, as I mentioned as well, circularity, because we control the full life cycle, we're able to really think a full life cycle and manage the full life cycle of that equipment. And then obviously too, that extends beyond our SaaS platform to platform as a service and providing very efficient and optimized ways of integrating those two ways of using our cloud platform. Within Oracle, we believe that it's important to really involve all aspects of the business in sustainability. And that is also the philosophy that we use when looking at the programs and solutions that we bring to market. So whether that's looking at reporting and planning, whether that's looking at analytics, whether that's leveraging the power of AI and IoT to get more real-time insights and make higher quality decision-making, engagement with suppliers, of course, specific industry solutions, as I mentioned, diversity and inclusion capabilities built within our HCM applications, and so on. In general, our philosophy is that if you want to achieve the sustainable organization, you must look at how all of those aspects are integrated in the operating systems that run your business and drive a digital transformation to those goals of ESG and sustainability. And so we have built a ESG intelligence framework from a set of building blocks. So at the lowest level, the ability to look at real-time information, to leverage that to make, as I say, smarter, more real-time decision-making, such as IoT, AI, and machine learning. We also make use of digital twins to visualize that information and have blockchain capabilities to achieve better visibility, trusted information of how material is moving through the supply chain, where it comes from, where it is going to, and all steps in between. We also have looked at ways of collecting the right information in all of the various operating systems in the business, having the right checkpoints, measurements, and decision-making built into those applications. And that is a journey that we continue to be on. As we look at the evolution of ESG, we're continually adding those capabilities into our core applications. We're also committed to building analytics solutions as part of our Fusion Analytics platform that draw information from those systems, recompute them where necessary into their environmental impact, let's say their carbon impact, and provide the right level of analytics to understand how to not only know what your performance has been, but look at for those opportunities to improve that performance. And then finally, through extensions to our EPM solution, a very flexible analysis and reporting platform. And indeed, that platform can be used separately from the rest of our SaaS applications and provides a very quick and easy way to get into the business of having a more systemic, auditable, controlled mechanism for tracking and reporting against your various ESG goals and targets. Looking a little bit more on that EPM capability, built on Oracle Enterprise Performance Management, predefined dashboards, pre-configured solutions with KPIs across the various dimensions of ESG, also linked to default planning features, and also supported by a consulting program designed to help you install and bring that up very quickly. So this is a great place to begin in moving away from what's often a very manual process into a more a systematic process for capturing and reporting against ESG targets. But longer term, as I mentioned, our goal is to build that into the core ERP and supply chain applications in the business, if you like, an environmental data model. So that data model leverages the existing entities that are in the supply chain and ERP applications, builds an HCM, of course, builds on those by adding attributes that historically were not captured but now need to be, extends them where needed, and provides the computational framework to translate all of that into true ESG intelligence, linked to the other aspects of your business, because our position is that if you're going to make improvements and smarter decisions, you need to connect that ESG insight with the other insights that help you drive line of business operations. So this is the commitment we're on. We want ESG, if you like, to be built in and not bolt on, and we're continuing to invest in order to achieve that goal. and to deliver that, of course, with the highest possible customer experience. So, which facilities need attention if you're out of compliance, alerts against immediate issues, where can you make adjustments, and where can you impact on future outcomes. As I've mentioned before, that the key point that we see is that by building these things instead of just reporting the past, you can anticipate and optimize the future. You can move, if you like, from a defensive posture of reporting your ESG impacts to an offensive posture of driving those down and creating not only benefits to the planet, but also a differentiated value to your organization. And that will, of course, lead to planning. That is, how can you plan to meet the goals that you set for the organization? How can you optimize energy, waste? How can you look at employees and labor with D&I considerations, training, and all of these different aspects need to be included in your overall ESG plan. And again, these are capabilities that we've built and are continuing to extend across all of our application offerings. So to close, this is a quote from our CEO, Safra Katz. Oracle is committed to embedding sustainability across our enterprise and delivering innovative cloud technology to accelerate meaningful change. So my name is John Chorley, and it's been my pleasure talking with you today.
John, thank you for joining us. Listen, we appreciate you spearheading Oracle's efforts in environmental sustainability. I'm proud to be at Oracle, where the commitment to sustainability is as strong as it is. Next, I want to introduce the team at Adensio. I mentioned earlier in the presentation the role of my organization to seek out and to support our strategic partners. Adensio started working with OPPM 20 years ago. They were the first ones to introduce its capabilities to the European market. There are few partners on this planet that have the depth and the breadth of OPPM and the skill sets around portfolio management as a discipline. Adensio has introduced additional power and capability for OPPM with the introduction of stazy, which, as they're going to demonstrate, can help support delivering on your ESG goals as well as other corporate initiatives. And with that, Daniel, I'll turn it over to you.
So, thank you very much, Joe. My name is Daniel. I'm associate partner at Adensio, and today I will show you the essence of what we have learned together with our OPPM customers over the last 20 years. First, I will start with one slide to show you what we really did on a software base. As Joe already mentioned, stazy is an add-on for Oracle Primavera Portfolio Management, OPPM, a tool that you maybe will all know very good. We are fully integrated in towards OPPM and also to Oracle Enterprise Edition. We have similar functions like forms and scores that you already know. In addition to that, we offer that functionality that customers were always asking for over the last years. This includes Horizon, a way to show the roadmap of your initiatives together with some resource utilization, having some easy time reporting, finding new ways to visualize your strategy and your impacts, as well as leveraging towards agile portfolio management with a Kanban module. Beside that, we also have the capability with additional dimensions to have direct PowerPoint PDF output within the system. And this is what we're now going to demonstrate together with the ESG example that Joe just demonstrated from Oracle. We did now log into stazy. We do start at a so-called landing page tailored to the role that we are currently in. At the moment, we are looking at sustainability management. As John and Joe already said, of course, there are targets based on SDG or ESG targets. The landing page has the purpose to show direct insights towards your portfolios regarding ESG. To start with, we analyze our portfolios regarding the ESG impact. All of our charts can be configured and are directly usable within the landing page. So if it's interesting to go towards what is integrated into the environmental part, we can directly drill down and see the projects that are part of the environmental. If we move up, we also see that most of our projects and initiatives are not bound towards ESG relevant topics. This is what we face currently at a lot of customers. They have their projects, they have their new targets regarding sustainability, and now they need to move their portfolio and their projects. And this is where OPPM, together with Stacy, can really make the difference. In addition to these charts, there are many more, like heat maps, to show where are we doing a lot and where are we doing too less. As well as having some bubble chart and scatter chart capabilities, where we also can indicate which of our initiatives have a low budget, which have a high budget, and what's the effect. So what's the effect on the top line or on the bottom line for your company. As Stacy is an add-on to OPPM, we tried to have a navigation which is quite similar to what you already know from OPPM. To start with, of course, we have scorecards to show a list view of projects, of targets, and so on. Currently, we are looking on some targets for our ESG part, which are part of our balanced scorecard. Of course, we still have forms with these new kind of charts, kind of trend charts. So with all the capabilities that you know from OPPM, highly configurable, and in this case, also available on mobile devices. One part which seems similar, but has a lot more power to offer is the power of our new scorecards. You all know and love the scorecards of OPPM, and what we brought in with our new scorecard capabilities are possibilities to, of course, sort and filter to directly have an impact on, to directly see the impact on ESG, SDG, and other categories. And the main part, of course, is down here. In OPPM, if you wanted to do analysis to see the budget that is needed for earning your ESG parts, you always had to build own analysis portfolio, which is good and which is great. But for some parts of the system, it's too heavy and it's too complicated for doing just ad hoc analysis. So what we are capable of doing now with our scorecards is having pivot functionality regarding row grouping and regarding aggregation. And what we can do is directly remove certain categories from our view. And if we want to have it arranged in a different setting, because currently we are just interested in the budget, we can also move columns around and then do the drill down towards, in this case, our environmental projects. We all know ESG is not done only to have ESG, but also to have some impacts. And if we now want to know which impacts are done by our project supporting the E, so the environmental part, we can add additional groups. This is very interesting because you now are capable of doing ad hoc analysis directly in the tool. If you're interested, you can also have these settings saved down here and share it with different users throughout the system. In addition to the power of scores, we also enhanced the export capabilities regarding forms and data. Nearly every project, nearly every initiative needs to provide some status report from time to time. So what we introduced is directly reporting from PDF or PowerPoint from within the system without going to an BI system. By just clicking export with a given template and have it in PDF or in PowerPoint. Based on what we also learned is these powerful portfolio structures have the capability to hold own values and own metadata, but also have summaries and averages from the underlying initiatives and projects. But what can we do if we want to go to the environmental project now? We can directly per right click open the portfolio within our screen or open the portfolio in a new tab. If we do so, we will be directly guided towards the portfolio. The other way around is even as interesting. So if we are inside a scorecard and have, for example, our stazy portfolio management initiative, and we click on our parent portfolio selection, we directly have a clear view and understanding in which portfolio our project is currently in. So in this case, it's working towards clean water and towards geoinformation. Beside that, we also have our new modules that enhance the current capability of what we are doing in OPPM. One is the Kanban module. Kanban offers agile capabilities towards OPPM. As well, they are configurable and based on your portfolio and category structure. Kanbans can be used to show certain processes and to ensure, for example, the implementation of the safe lean PPM framework. In this case, we have a portfolio Kanban where we see the cards are all our items, all our initiatives within the system. So we can decide based on some big room planning if we want to move projects from one phase to another or arrange it to give information to a certain ordering. Not only having the Kanban functionality for process flow visualization, we can also use it to have it for grouping. So in this case, we changed the ESG portfolios. So we now have different lanes, each containing the projects supporting environmental, social, and governance topics. Here, mainly the ranking part comes into play, where we say one or another project is more important than the other. So in case we have problems with resources or capacities. This directly leads us to the next topic. If we have resource and capacity problems, this was always when we needed to go towards P6 and other multi-project or project management systems. We did talk a lot with our customers and we came up with a different approach. The first question was always, are we capable of having the data which we already have within the lifecycle modules to build a visual roadmap? So to just know where our projects are running. And this is exactly what we did with our Horizon module. We have our projects and we have life cycles that you already know and are now capable to print it as part of a roadmap. Maybe on a yearly basis for a first look, or we can go to a quarterly or even to a monthly view if needed. Based on that, we also introduced something which is called lean capacity management. So we believe that you need to be able to plan some resources or at least resource groups on a, let's say, phase level to give an overall understanding. Are we capable of doing the project at the time that we wanted to do it? If we now have here our projects, we get directly filtered our filtered resources and we see the capacity part. So where we have over allocation, where we have under allocation, and where the maximum capacities are for this project. Of course, not only on a project level, of course, also on the phase level, directly all integrated and all filtered. The interesting part is now when we say, okay, here we can't do the project. What possibilities do we have based on that? So of course we can move projects around and see direct the impact on our capacities for the full project. Another possibility is to move certain phases around or to extend or shrink them, all based on fixed units for the efforts and demands that are based on that. Of course, not only on phase level, if we want to go down towards monthly planning, because we all know there are vacations from time to time, there are special occasions where the capacities will not be available. This is also possible from within stazy. if we are more advanced OPPM user, we are aware of the scenario planning that comes within the investor maps. From the investor maps, we can do high-level portfolio management decisions, so in or out portfolio. So we decide what are the right projects to do. With Horizon in the priority mode, we can then give an answer, the right projects, are we capable of doing them, and when are we capable of doing them? So we have now 3 structures. One are our must-have projects. So really the projects, the initiatives that we need to focus on. These are the projects that we should not move. These are the projects that we should not switch resources. These are the ones that have the highest priority. Beside that, we have the ongoing projects. And you all know from the portfolio build, there are always running projects and there are new candidates that should be integrated towards the running portfolio. And the good and interesting part here is now, if we now have again our stazy portfolio management part, we click on it and we directly see which resources are involved, but they have no impact on the capacity right now. But as soon as we decide to bring it towards the ongoing projects, we see the direct impact. From here, we can have the same decisions as before. Do we want to move it around? Do we want to shrink it? Or do we maybe not want to start it because the risk of not being able to deliver or overusage of our resources is too high? We hope you liked our short introduction on stazy. We are looking forward to your questions and are available for additional customized live presentations. Thank you very much for your time. Daniel from Adensio.
Thank you, Daniel, and you're not only for the presentation, but all the work you've put into extending the capabilities of OPPM. The webinar really doesn't do stazy justice when it comes to grasping the power it brings to our OPPM customers. And I suggest a call to action for everyone. Please reach out to your Oracle Construction and Engineering representative to schedule a real-time experience of stazy and what it can do for you, your organization, your most imperative initiatives, including making our planet a more sustainable one. I'm Joe Kastner. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to connecting live in the near future. Thank you.